So how's everybody feeling today? Yeah? We'll start in a couple minutes, but I'll just introduce myself and then reintroduce myself once the clock starts, I guess. My name is Jason Kelly. Been a massage therapist since 2007. Studied martial arts since I was in 10th grade, so it's about 17 years now, 15 years. Been teaching for about 10 years. No, teaching martial arts. Yeah. Ninjutsu is the name of my martial art. The art of the ninja. Oh no, I'm nice. You know, anybody who practices true martial arts knows that we just want peace. You know. So throughout the years of training and definitely going through school and massage therapy, learning about the body, the muscles, how the muscles pull on the bone. That's all muscles do is pull on bone. They stabilize the bone. They're pulling on that bone, keeping it stable. Whenever you curl, your biceps are curling up, pulling on that bone. You know, and a lot of times when you have flexion, you have another muscle, which is called your antagonist muscle, and that will lengthen as that one flexes. You know, so you got that. Not just one side. You're not just curling when you curl. You're curling and you're lengthening your triceps at the same time. So, just the general knowledge of the contractions of the body. You know, you have what they call a concentric, which is, you know, shortening of the muscle. Eccentric, which is lengthening of the muscle. That's a contraction too, as well. You know, so those working together is what gives you the curling action. And then they have what they call isometrics, which is a static hold of a muscle. You know, so a lot of times in our martial art, we'll hold stances for extended periods of time. You know, and what we're doing is we're building those intrinsic muscles and holding it taut and holding ourselves in such a way where we can breathe and relax and utilize our full body's potential of holding all that weight. You know, it was amazing when I went to Japan because I'm watching these 90, 100-year-old men throw around us, you know, 20-year-olds like we're rag dolls. Come on in. And they had such amazing strength. Okay, it's 5:30. This is going to be our marker, so just so you know. No, it's okay. All right. So again, my name is Jason Kelly. I'm a massage therapist. I've been training martial arts for many years. And one thing that I noticed when I was there, you know, and how they hold themselves. You know, I mean, they're 90, 80, 100 years old, and they're rolling around in the ground like butter. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was totally amazing to me. And they were able to move and have spinal rotation, and they were vibrant. You know, it was really amazing to watch. And I knew I was hooked at that point, as far as finding something that I can integrate in my life. You know, and that's what I've done with, you know, ninjutsu for 15 years now. You know, and I have one student right now. She's 47. She's never trained in martial arts, and she's picking it up really quickly, which is great. But as far as what it's going to do for you, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you is just going to help you keep your body erect. You know, as we get older, you'll notice, and you probably feel it, the shoulders are being pulled in, and you're getting this downward kind of draw. You know, and realistically, you know, as we're babies, you know, we come out of the womb and we break that mold, and we're upright and we're, you know, crazy little kids, you know, but as time goes on, gravity goes on, it starts pulling us back down. You know, that forward flexion, the rolled shoulders, you know. And what's funny about the bones, so this is going to be a general information class. so you'll learn a little information of what's in my head. But then you'll learn some stretching too, and what to pay attention to in your own self. And we'll definitely do a breathing exercise just so you can get an internal feeling of how those muscles are pulling on your bone when you breathe. So yeah, that forward flexion, that thing that happens as we get older, and that hyper thoracic, what do they call, hyperkyphosis of the thoracic spine, or that drawing down of the cervical region that impinges movement. And it's something you might be noticing as we age. I notice it in myself, and I'm only 31. So what I like to tell people when I give them massages is different things to pay attention to their posture. And basically, what I'd like to say is the first thing you should do, and this is good for breathing, it's good for when you go into stretching, it's good for when you're moving around, is house the heart. And what I mean by that is your rectus abdominis, your abdominal muscles. That forward flexion I'm talking about, what that really is, it's your rectus abdominis. It's pulling on your sternum, pulling up on your pelvis, and that tension is creating that feeling or that tug or that stretch on the body. So by thinking of where it attaches to, which is the pubic bone of the pelvis region, and this is your rectus abdominis, it attaches to the inside of your ribs and actually attaches to your diaphragm and the inside of your ribs, right? So your rectus abdominis attaches there and there. So what you want to think about is lengthening. So if you can all do this with me right now as you're sitting, is lengthening and strengthening your abdominals. Just your rectus abdominis, this right here. And I don't mean strengthen like, try to hold it. I just mean make it erect and hold it there. Okay. Your rectus abdominis is one of your strongest muscles in the body. You can work it out every day, and you don't have to worry about fatiguing it. Question? It will naturally, because you're probably more prone to being forward like this, And as you lift up, it naturally aligns your skeleton structure. Okay? So basically, that was good. I like what I just saw there. Exactly. When you lengthen your rectus abdominis and then hold it there, you don't have to hold it taut, just hold it there. What you're doing is you're housing your heart. And I say that because now your lumbar isn't holding all that weight. Your lumbar section or your spine is now has a little help from the front. And it's not that you're holding it taut. It's what you're trying to do is relax your posture in this posture instead of this posture. Yes. Uh-huh. Right. And that can happen, overstressing muscles. Muscles, like I was saying before, all muscle does is pull on bone. So if you're really vigorously working out and pulling on that bone, you can, rip some fibers. You can do stuff like that. Shin splints. That's muscle continually pulling on that attachment point, and that's when it breaks off. So overstressing yourself is definitely something to watch for. As far as this goes, you don't have to worry about that. This is just an informational class of how we hold our weight. It's nothing to do with strength training. I'm a massage therapist. I can't tell you to strength train. I can only show you stretching and different things to keep you vibrant. So, okay. So you're lifting that up. Your feet can be anywhere you like, whatever's natural for you. Lift up your rectus abdominis. Now that you house the heart, what I like to tell people is to lift the heart when you breathe in now. And what that's going to promote is, if you look at my body, this is what we're trying to avoid, right? So you lift and raise that rectus abdominis, and it immediately throws your shoulders back and stops that impingement of the cervical region, right? Now when you breathe in, you can get that back extension, right? So just by lengthening your abdominals here and holding it there, and now breathing in, you can get that adverse action, because we want to be here, but now you're pushing yourself back. You're getting that back extension. It's really important to do, especially as we get older, because it's going to get harder and harder to do if you don't do it. It's like that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. That is so true of the range of motion. Because if you don't, you'll not be able to move. You won't be able to reach that full Queen's wave, or be able to flex your body. And the more you don't do it, the more your body will not allow you to do it. It'll structurally stop you from doing it. So think of that. Think of lengthening that rectus abdominis, breathing in, and lifting your heart, and just exhaling, and relax your structure in that posture. So if everybody could stand up for me, and anything in your hands, you could please put aside or on your chair or whatnot. So throughout the exercise that I show you, think of that rectus abdominis. Think of keeping that straight. And that will naturally throw your shoulders back. You'll feel it. Okay? So as far as the postures, maybe bring your feet out a little bit so your heels are right below your shoulders, whatever's comfortable. I like pointing my big toes straight out, so that little bit of a curve at the ankles. So these 5 postures are going to help you have an internal feeling of the pull of all the muscles that assist when you breathe. Okay? So the first posture is a natural posture. This is actually a martial arts posture that we learn. Me, I take this a little bit further, and I hold all the postures that we do vigorously throughout my training, which is where I've taken it. I'm just introducing this to you. This is something that you can incorporate in your lifestyle. Stretching is fine and great, but it's nothing unless you do it over an extended period of time. You integrate it into your life, weekly, daily if you can, is ideal. So as far as the first posture goes, think of your rectus abdominis, keeping that straight, and just breathing in. Your hands are at your side. It's natural. This is natural position, first position. Okay? And just breathe. If you want to close your eyes, go ahead. That's fine if you get a little more sense that you can see what's going on with your internal body. Just notice how your chest raises as you breathe in and breathe out. Okay? And notice how it falls. Okay? So now the second position, really simple. Just bring your thumbs out, point them out, and keep them right there. Do that same breath. See if you can notice any difference. Okay? So the first breath, natural position, go right back to that. Go ahead and close your eyes if you want. Breathe in. Remember, thinking about that rectus abdominis, strengthening and lengthening that, lifting the heart as you breathe in, getting that back extension. Right? See? This is what I want you to start noticing, okay, is your posture when you breathe. Okay? And that's awesome that you said that. Thank you very much. Because that's what it's doing, actually, because you're actually rotating the humerus back when you bring those thumbs back, which brings the shoulders back even a little further. Right? So there's natural position, first position, right? Simple. Second or third position, really easy. Just bend your elbows at 90 degrees, and it's like you're holding 2 cups of water. You don't want to spill them, Take that same breath in. See if you can feel any difference as you breathe in. And think about your spine. Think about your structure. Think about housing that heart. So you're lifting that rectus abdominis, keeping it straight, which is now supporting your lumbar spine as you lift the heart. All right? So go right back to the first one, natural position. Take a nice breath in. See if you notice any difference as you switch postures. Now bring your thumbs out. Same thing. Right. Third position, bring your hands up like you're holding water. Okay, in fourth position, it's like a kung fu stance almost, but keep your feet where they are and just bring your palms in so they're right on the side of your body like so. Okay. Now take that same breath. See if it feels different now. It probably will. A lot different, right? So each one of these postures is going to show you a different way of how your muscles are being, I guess you could say, exercised and pulled at as you breathe, right? So there's natural position. Take a breath. First position, thumbs out. Anatomical position is a better way to put this. You always think that Leonardo da Vinci thing, you know. All right. All right, so that's second, third position. You're holding cups of water. All right. Fourth position, kung fu. Really pull those elbows back when you do this. You know, pull those shoulder blades back. You know, that's important. It's almost like you're, you know, doing a row in a way. In the last position, bring your hands back out, elbows right into the side, and pull your thumbs back. Right? Just so everybody can see. Just like that. It's easy. Take a nice breath. Again, with all these postures, what you want to think about is keeping that rectus abdominis straight, housing the rest of your lumbar spine. You know, because once you house the heart, now you can lift the heart. Now you can get that back extension. Now your body's a little more stable. You know, it's not all loaded in the lower back, and you know you're breathing and you're not utilizing your entire body. You know, and that's what I think all the postures and stuff like that is that I saw when I was in Japan. This is a lot of the breathing is what they showed me there that I'm incorporating and showing you. All right, so first position, natural position. We're here, take a nice breath. And if you really want to start doing this, do 10 breaths each. We're not going to do it now because we don't have much time, but 10 breaths each of each one of these postures, that's 50 breaths. If you can do that every day, your body will love you. Okay? It will love you. See, now that's the thing. Because you're consciously being aware of your breath and your posture, you're bringing in more oxygen. You do have to be, that's why I have chairs set up. You do have to be aware that you're getting more oxygen. You could get lightheaded. You could pass out. You know, that is a possibility. The likelihood of that happening, you know, but be aware of that too. You know, that it's good to do this next to a wall or next to a chair. That's a good point. Thank you very much. So, natural position, take a breath. Strengthen and lengthen. Lift the heart when you breathe in. And maybe as you breathe out, allow yourself to kind of relax back to where you were. And notice how big of a difference it is. Right? And how much you're actually holding yourself forward. You know, that's what we're doing. We're holding ourselves forward. When we're guarding ourselves, that's the first thing that happens. We tighten up this chest, you know, if we're in pain emotionally or whatnot. And again, you know, if we're protecting ourselves from the environment around us, right? That front tension on the body, what it does is that tension, you know, elongates all the muscles in your back. So if you want to think of anything, it's like stretching out a rubber band, but you still got all the stress there. So now they're all stressed out and stretched out, and it hurts, you know. So that forward flexion is what you're trying to avoid. And if you look at my neck, even just doing that, now there's no impingement. There's nothing stopping my neck from doing the range of motion. So as we go in right now, everybody can have a seat. We'll go through the breathing exercise right at the end. I'm gonna start going a little faster because we're kind of running out of time. Just being relaxed and being aware of your posture. You know, it's not about holding it and trying to, you know, it's not about that. It's about relaxing and being aware of your rectus abdominis. You know, stretching that out and lengthening that as much as comfortable. And then from there, because you've housed the heart, is what I like to say, because you're giving extra support to your lumbar spine, now you can extend and breathe in. You know, this gets into meditation and posture and how to hold yourself and all that good stuff. But for right now, we'll just do some simple stretching. I'll start at the feet and work my way up. So there's 4 motions that you can do with your ankle. So we'll do this 1 foot at a time. What you want to avoid is moving your knee. So if you want to place both your hands on your legs like this and have 1 foot up is fine. Just so people can see. So you kind of be like right here, 1 foot up, right? So what you want to do is create plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, inversion, and eversion, right? So for now, I'll just do it standing. You guys can be sitting. It's fine. I'm sorry about the arrangement. Inversion is bringing your toes in, right? So what you want to do is static holds. So anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds of inversion, right? And again, think about your rectus abdominis. I just saw everybody's shoulders move at the same time. That was great. Think about that. Think about your breath. Think about relaxing. Just by statically holding that inversion, what you're doing is you're promoting the connective tissue and the fascia around the muscle, the netting in the muscle, to relax and to release. Okay. Ideally, inversion, I think, is about 25 degrees. So from a relaxed position, inversion, 25 degrees, just about there. What, over here? Okay. Inversion. It's about 25 degrees. This is natural, 25 degrees. Okay, it's really simple. Eversion, you're throwing it outwards, going that way. Right? So inversion, it's in towards the body. And again, you want to isolate the knee. You don't want to move the knee with this. It's all your ankle. It's really important to decompress the ankles. Nope. Just kind of pull your foot in, hold it for 10 to 20 seconds. Inversion and then eversion, right? Dorsiflexion, pull your toes back, you know. And then there's plantar flexion where you're pushing your toe down like you're hitting a gas pedal, right? So I'm kind of rushing through all this. I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to get it all done. So if you can, put your foot up here. And if you can't do that, what you're going to do is stand up and stand next to your chair. And what you're going to do is just do circles with your foot. So you're getting that circumcision of the ankle as well. So if you can't do that, or if you'd like to stand, you can stand. Just go in a rotation. Rotate your ankles. Open up your ankles. So if you think about it, you know, the joints that are stressed, and just go in any direction you can. Eversion, inversion, plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, whatever you can, in big circles. Just move your ankle around. It doesn't really matter what you do as long as you do it. You know, give yourself that little bit of time. Personally, I give myself foot massages all the time. And hand massages because I'm a massage therapist. I have to stretch out my wrists. I have to do that because, me as a therapist, our theme, our eminences will grow so big that it pulls on a wrist and brings the whole wrist out, and we got carpal tunnel and all sorts of crazy stuff later. So just think of rotating your ankles as many times as you can. What's natural, what's comfortable. Again, I'm going to try to show everybody. Inversion, eversion, away, right? Plantar flexion, right? And dorsiflexion, okay? So you get kind of all those when you rotate the ankle, So what happens is, we're on our feet all day. It's compressing all your tarsal bones, You got all that compression from your weight all day long, and we never give ourselves time at the end of the day to decompress our ankles. This is something good to do after a day of being upright. I wish I could go through more. I wish I had more time. Exactly. Anytime you could fit it in. The breathing, you could do anytime. You can do it when you're driving, when you're watching TV. You don't have to give yourself 10 minutes. You can give yourself a minute, as long as you're conscious of how you hold yourself. So as far as the ankles, we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to show you guys the most important stretch that you can do, and I'm going to reintroduce it right at the end really quick. It's called the iliopsoas stretch. Okay? A lot of you seen like a groin stretch where you're stretching like this. The iliopsoas is kind of tricky because what you're trying to do is, everybody's seen this stretch where you pull your foot back like this. And this is the rectus femoris. It's your front quad. And what you're doing is you're lengthening that quad, right? And you're lengthening the quad because you're flexing the knee. So now your rectus femoris, so basically your hamstrings are activated, and that's shortening your hamstrings and then lengthening your quads. Remember I was talking about the antagonist muscles? Same thing when stretching, right? So that one's shortening, this one's lengthening. So when you do the iliopsoas stretch, you have to have that flexion of the knee, right? You have to have that flexion of the knee to elongate that rectus femoris in the front, right? So because that rectus femoris, because you're bending that knee, because that's lengthened, now what you do is you fire your glute. So now you're shortening your glute and lengthening that rectus femoris, right? Those two actions, now house the heart and lift the heart, right? And what you're going to do, because you're lengthening this and now firing that glute, now you just isolated your iliopsoas. Your iliopsoas attaches to your femur, comes up, runs up, and attaches to the inside of your hip, and then runs up to, I think, L4 to L2 of the spine, right? So it's a very important muscle to keep aligned, the first part of the forward flexion thing I was talking about, So to just get a quad stretch, you can do this stretch here, that's fine, right? I wish I had more time. I'd love to go through all these with you guys. So that's just isolating right now the quad, right? But with this, what you're doing is you're lengthening that quad. No, it's not. No, it's not. The front is, the knee's always above the heel. You never want to bring your knee past your big toe, right? You always want to keep that stable and as stable as you can, right? And as far as this is concerned, you're kind of bending it in so your leg is straight down from your hip, right? And that knee's pointing down. So you're lengthening that quad. Once the quad is lengthened and you feel that stretch, you activate that glute. Yeah, activate it, shorten it. Just like you're activating your bicep when you curl, same aspect, right? Same aspect in the fact that because you're activating your glute, you're lengthening that front rectus femoris, right? So it's that antagonist action. This side? Okay. So, see that right angle? See that right angle? That's what you want to create. Now you can move from here, you know, a regular quad stretch, into there. So this is a workout and a stretch at the same time, and you'll feel it. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'm just showing you this because it's a very important stretch. Right? Oh, okay, I got it. So lengthen that quad, or that rectus femoris, fire that glute, and arch that pelvis, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it right up in here. You know, because you're lengthening that and firing that, now you've isolated that muscle. It's the only way to do it. So it's the psoas, iliacus and psoas. They're really two muscles that kind of combine. Everybody's a little different. You know, some people are separated, some people are not. Because you're lengthening one muscle and then contracting the other, you automatically isolated the muscle because now this is activated and this is lengthened. So this helps align the lower body structure. So your sacrum, your lumbar, your femur. Gets into the foot strike. I wish I had more time. I feel like I'm going to run out of time. Of course I am. I'm going to stretch it a little bit further, and then I'll get rid of all the chairs. So I'll give you guys an extra 5 minutes, if that's okay. Stop it. Wherever you get a cramp, whenever you get a cramp, there's two things you can do. You can compress the area, right, wherever you're getting the cramp, and that will help with the cramp. Okay? The other thing you could do is shorten the antagonist muscle. So if you're getting a cramp in the front of your quad, right, you're going to want to shorten your hamstring. And what that's going to do is lengthen your quad automatically, which is going to help relax it. Okay? Same thing with, like, if you get one in the back right here, you know. So to lengthen that, you do dorsiflexion. You bring that toe up. Right? So activating the antagonist will help with the cramping. Well, anyway, everybody stand up again with me. We only got a little bit more time. And I would like everybody to run through the 5 postures that we did in the beginning. And when you lift your rectus abdominis, I want you to think of this area right here, right? Right below your belly button. I've been told it's called the Holy Grail, the cauldron bubble, or bubbling cauldron. That too. But it's in Chinese, the Dantian, Japanese, the Hara. Okay, many different names for the same thing. But basically, what it is, it's your furnace, right? It's where you should hold your weight, not here, you know, here. You know, by lifting and raising your rectus abdominis and keeping that up, now you've just housed your heart. So now think of your weight here, right? So do all those postures for me. Just run through them. I'm going to look at everybody do them. Start from the beginning. Natural, just at your side. Anatomical, thumbs out. Teacup. Go ahead and incorporate your movement with your breath too. Give each one a couple breaths, you know. That's the 4th and the 5th. You bring your thumbs out. Keep your elbows in. So you're really rotating that humerus. Yeah, yeah. Definitely feel it around the glenohumeral joint. That right there alone, thinking of that rectus abdominis, doing those postures, and realistically, any posture, just having your hands up. This gets into like qigong and stuff like that, and being able to just utilize your full breath. To do that, you have to stack your bones. So I want you guys to think about this as something to take home with you. Think of those postures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And think about this too. Think about, you can either have your hands up like this, right? Or keep them on the side, whatever's natural. And when you breathe in, throwing your chest out, and breathe out, compressing it in. So you're getting that forward flexion and that extension. If anything, it's like that yoga where they do the cat stretch, where they do this. Same thing, but standing. Okay? So just think of pushing that out from here. Get a little bit of forward flexion. It's going to move your spine. You know, spine is so important. You know, as far as mobility goes. Whenever you rotate your spine, always make sure that it's not from up here only. Start from down here. Then look. You know, each vertebrae moves a little bit. All together, that creates the spinal rotation. If you're just moving your top, you're impinging your actual range of motion. Got about 2 minutes here. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just about to do it. No. So, thinking of lifting that rectus abdominis, right? And housing the heart. And thinking of that spot right there that I was talking about from here. Now when you walk, do this when you go home and maybe you walk to your car. Think of shooting a fishing line, right, to your car, right? And it's attached to right here on your body, okay? And then as you reel in that line, your car pulls you towards it instead of you going to your car. So you're not looking down at the ground and forward flexing. You're allowing that reel to go out, and you're pulling yourself towards your objective of where you're going. You know, just by doing that, you're going to align yourself and walk correctly, but also it's going to give you that energy to go and keep you erect. So think about your rectus abdominis. Think about strengthening, lengthening that, right? And as you throw that line out, that spot right there gets pulled to where you're going. And you'd be surprised with how it feels. Yep, I know. So I'm sorry, I wish I had more time. When I first signed up for this, I wanted to be an hour so I can really go through everything. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. So just remember to house the heart. Once you house the heart, you can lift the heart. Get that back extension.